we had a request for tonight to focus on meditation. So welcome to those of you here on the live stream. Welcome to those of you who are here in VR. We're going to make our way into the temple, and let's really begin straight into the meditation. We're going to make this ritual for those of us who are walking in. Imagine you're walking into that peaceful, enlightened part of yourself, going into meditation. And for those of you on the live stream, I just invite you to also imagine that you're going into this special, powerful, wise, calm place inside of you. So for those of you who are regulars, I'm going to ring the bell, we'll line up, and we'll make our way in. Each one of us is going to bow as we enter the temple, as a moment to just set everything else aside. Then there's the enlightened being at the back, and I invite you to have a moment with them. Maybe bow to the enlightened being inside of you, or to imagine a world where everybody's enlightened. Or if that's too far out for you, maybe just think of a mind that is calm and peaceful and choosing how it wants to be, and just find that part of yourself. So after you've had the moment with the enlightened being, we're all just going to grab a cushion. If you're there on the live stream, I invite you to just spend more time contemplating the wisest, most wonderful part of you, and just letting yourself settle into meditation. Okay, so I'm going to ring this bell. Let's line up.
Okay.
For some people, an enlightened being represents peace and ease. For some, it's powerful awareness. For some, it's profound love. So we're just going to begin this session with our dedication. Setting the intention. Maybe you're here to meditate, and when you think about meditation, is it to bring some peace? Is it to be calm? Is it to raise your awareness? Is it to make more compassion? Is it to be able to let go of things that don't serve you? Is it to be able to dive into perfect peace at any moment? So I just invite everybody to think, to feel, to dedicate this time. What do you want to practice? What are you setting your intention for? And I invite everybody to set their intention on the most wonderful mind that you can imagine, filled with happiness, filled with gratitude, filled with patience, kindness, and understanding. So our request for tonight was to really focus on meditation. And in just a moment, we're going to dive into a guided meditation. I'm going to focus on a kindness and compassion meditation, but with the start being guiding our minds into calm and peace. Some people in a compassion meditation will go straight into focusing on individuals and the feeling of compassion, but I want to take us into the meditation, into focus, let our activity in our mind settle so that our whole self is more able to focus on those that we care about, to more fully feel kindness, to be more free to grow the feelings of kindness and patience and understanding. To everybody out on the live stream, I will be checking all the chats from all the platforms. And so I invite you to really feel like you're here with us. But for now, we're all going to take ourselves into a journey of meditation. So I invite everybody to get comfortable. If you're here in the temple, I invite you to mute your microphone just in case. Let your body find a nice posture. And then scan your body anywhere that feels good. You just enjoy the nice feelings. Anywhere your awareness makes you aware to adjust the posture into a way that feels better. Just let that happen naturally. Anywhere where you feel, oh, this part of me could really relax more, just hold the attention there and imagine that part of you relaxing. What it would feel like for the muscles to just completely let go and feel at ease. So as we scan through our body, feeling every place, as you keep scanning through the body, let your breathing become more peaceful. Creating calm in the body, calm in the breath, calm in the mind. And now, just like we scanned our body, notice your consciousness. Do a consciousness scan. What's the tone of your inner voice? Let the tone of your voice become peace, become soothing. Maybe even imagine your inner voice just being the sound of your breath. And continue to scan your consciousness. What kinds of things were you thinking? Images or ideas? How does your mind feel? And just let your whole mind, your whole consciousness become peaceful. As we take ourselves into meditation, we're preparing ourselves for a kindness and caring meditation. But right now we're just letting our mind settle so that we can more fully, completely experience the kindness meditation. So if you're already here, imagine just going so much deeper into meditation, what it would feel like for everything else to just disappear, your consciousness to be at peace and free. And if you've just arrived, I invite you to decide, I'm going to let my mind become calm. I'm going to let my thoughts become calm. So I'm ready to go on an intentional daydream. So we'll just feel our breath and put your concentration into the breath. And just breathe for 10 breaths and notice all the rest of your mind becoming calmer. Just feeling the breath, hearing the breath. How good it is anytime you notice some activity in the mind, but you choose to just breathe and let that part of your mind be still. More and more of you becoming pure peace, pure calm. And now we're going to begin our kindness meditation. So traditionally, we would choose someone, a dear friend or family member. So I invite you to just think of someone, maybe one of your best friends, someone you have a good time with or you laugh with, or someone who's very caring. And imagine if you had spent 10 or 20 minutes just thinking about them, appreciating them, wishing them well, feeling love and kindness for them. Imagine how big and bright your good feeling would become. You can mix in some joy. Wow, whenever you think of this person, it's going to feel good. Caring feels good. And then you could imagine if we'd spent another hour thinking of all of your friends and family and just grow the love, that you would just pure love and joy for everybody in your life. Just feeling yourself as this being of kindness and warmth and positivity and caring, and you make everybody feel kind. Imagine if you had actually spent an hour or two just practicing that and growing that and feeling it and practicing it. How deeply, how fully, how wonderfully you'd be full of kindness and joy and so many happy memories and so many well wishes and positivity. It's like you would feel yourself as this being of kindness. And then imagine if we spent a few more hours thinking of everybody you've ever met, and every one of them, you appreciated them. You felt that you wish they were okay. You felt that you have understanding and kindness towards them. And not just thinking of them, you'd also feel in yourself. Every person in your mind would be transformed into kindness and understanding. So the feeling of you, how you feel, would be deeply transformed into this appreciation, patience and warmth. Imagine if we spent a few more hours imagining everyone in the world, not just everyone you've met, but everybody, all people, everyone in your country, everyone in your continent, everyone from some completely different culture, some other completely different culture, all the people. Imagine feeling yourself deeply, completely knowing that you wish for everybody to feel okay. And not just the idea of that, but the feeling of it. That there's such beautiful care inside every one of our hearts. If you just give it the attention, it's so beautiful. And you get to this place where not only do you feel your love for everybody, you see the love and care inside everybody else. And take the nice ideas or the beautiful feelings that you've just cultivated, just keep bringing your attention into them. Feel them more, be them more. Think of everybody in your life and just feel this beautiful caring growing and growing through to all of them and through every part of you. And then practice. Every time you think of someone, what lens you will see them through. I would suggest a lens of kindness, of understanding, of encouragement. But I'll let you choose. How would you like to bring your attention to every person that you think of? And then once you have that idea, practice how beautiful it feels or how strong it feels. Thinking of different people in your life, transforming your mind so that every time you think of them, it's the awesomeness that you're practicing. You could also add to your meditation to see from other people's perspective, to ask yourself, how could I treat this person in a way that they would feel is most awesome, most kind? So as you continue to keep thinking of different people through your life, see them through the enlightened eyes of epic compassion and see them through their own eyes such a beautiful gift you're creating, practicing the most wonderful kindness and care you can for each person that you think of. If you've just arrived, as you think of different friends and family, try to really vividly see them. Engage your imagination to really be with people that you care about. And when you're imagining them, then just really feel the kindness you have for them. That you want them to be okay. That you want them to know that you wish well for them. You'll support them in ways you can. You want to understand them. You like them. You're practicing yourself as this beam of kindness and comfort and warmth to everybody. And there are moments where people act in ways that are different than what you expect, or there's always the moments with people that maybe require more strength or more wisdom or more patience. So let yourself meditate on that now. Practice it. Imagine yourself how good it would feel that when there's some kind of challenge, you just step into this infinite love and you create your most caring, most assertive, most peaceful self. Just bringing good vibes and wisdom and truth to every one of those moments. And imagine if you had been practicing this for half an hour every day for 10 years. Your whole self was just completely full of kindness, of a care that feels so beautiful to you, and in the way that you move and the way that you talk and just the way that you are brings kindness to everybody. Now I've been using my words to try and glimpse the ultimate compassion, but I invite you to step beyond my words. Let yourself focus on or imagine the most amazing kindness possibly can, the kindest possible universe, the most profound love for all beings. Go beyond what my words can do, and just let yourself go more and more into compassion, kindness, understanding, love, strength, wisdom, joy. Sharing of enlightenment. And then imagine this week the people who you might think of or see on the street or have in online meetings, just the acquaintances. And imagine having this feeling of joy, smiles for them, the little moments of passing that you have this positive wish for them that you convey in the tone of your voice or in the words that you choose. Make it real this week, today. And then think of a little closer the people that you will interact with more. As you think about how you talk to them, you may notice that old habits are there. So try to become all the goodness you meditated on as you think about how you talk to them, how you feel with them. Some people need more patience or more curiosity. Some people, it may help to give them more gratitude or to share stories or thoughts. Just feel yourself bringing kindness and goodness into your life. And then bring your mind even closer. Think of your best friends, your closest family. We'll spend some time. How will you talk to them this week? See it through the eyes of all the compassion and kindness that you just glimpsed. Practice your most enlightened, loving self talking to them. Or maybe even take your old self out of the equation. Practice how the most enlightened, wonderful being that could ever exist, how would I talk to them? How would I treat them? Just let yourself feel that and be that. And see what you've been practicing, and you'll notice that some of the old thoughts, old habits are still there. Just take a few deep breaths and imagine if they were just all gone. You're becoming completely free to give them the most pure love, the most pure kindness. Just focus on the breath and let everything go. And then bring your mind back onto your best friends, your closest family, and relate to them from a place of perfect compassion, perfect well-wishing. And then think of a couple of other of your close friends or family. Maybe your closest co-workers or school friends or teachers. And then imagine if you could see the minds of all those people. See everything they're thinking. How much you would wish for them to be kind to themselves. And if you saw them in thoughts that are painful, that you would support them and encourage them, nurture them. If you saw them with beliefs about themselves that were not helpful or not true, you'd want to encourage them, help them. And we can kind of see their minds by talking with them and observing them. Now I want you to bring your attention onto yourself and to see yourself through the eyes of perfect compassion, perfect kindness. And you can see your mind. If you've been practicing a lot of mindfulness, you can see so much of your mind. If you've been practicing less, you can see your mind whenever you pay attention. So give yourself all of that love and kindness and support. Be your own best friend, your own cheer squad. Take some deep breaths and remember the most loving feelings from today's meditation. Grow those feelings. Then take 3 of the deepest breaths you can and grow those feelings even more. And then again, look into your own mind and give love and kindness to every part of you. That you'll wish joy, you'll feel joy, you'll be joy. That you'll wish comfort, you'll give comfort, you'll be comfort. That you'll have encouragement and strength, creativity. Take some strong, deep breaths. Fill yourself up with love and kindness. And then you can start to stretch. You're going to shift your mind from meditative contemplation, bringing your awareness back into the temple or back into the room. And perhaps you had some moments where you glimpsed or were really in some beautiful feeling. So let yourself think and feel and decide to bring that beautiful way of being into every moment of your waking mind. Now, if you remember, we started that meditation just letting ourselves settle. And then in the compassion meditation, we thought of someone. And I said, imagine if you spent 20 minutes just appreciating them and loving them. So I hope that kind of just got you to imagine a big feeling of caring. And then we imagined hours of this bigger caring for everyone in your life. And I know for me, perhaps because I have spent hours meditating on compassion, I was just remembering how wonderful that can be. And I hope that you were either remembering it or imagining it or like conceptualizing it. And then we imagined spending even longer to fill our whole self up with kindness for every acquaintance. And then we imagined thinking of everybody in the world And, the next words that just came out of my mouth, I hadn't planned them, but acknowledging that you actually, any person in the world that you think of, you wish they're okay. And seeing that we actually have this care for everybody. And everybody has this care for everybody. Maybe that's obvious to you, but I know that was something that arose for me today, and it also has arisen for me while doing kindness meditation in the past. And there are so many beautiful perspectives and wonderful gems that just arise while we sit in kindness meditation or peace meditation. So I hope that you can. Geeknificent, the finishing of that thought was, I said, imagine if we spent 20 minutes focusing on one person to really grow that love. So I wanted to invite everybody to actually try that, to think of one person and just grow the love so much. And then maybe every day, give that 20 minutes to just really grow the love you can for the people who are closest to you. And then over more practice, over hours, the kindness that you've grown becomes so amazing. So thank you for joining us. So I'd love to hear if there's anything that anyone wanted to share or any questions that anybody had from the practice we just shared. Those of you watching on the live stream, please also, I'll be checking. Fluffy puppy?
Yeah, I actually was like nodding off as we were doing the meditation. I kind of felt sleepy at that point, like mid meditation. Yeah, my entire body was like, it felt like it was going limp or something. I don't know, like it was giving in to something. And as
Was
I
it
was
a
thinking
nice
of some of
feeling?
these things, it did feel like a nice feeling. It was a
Good, good.
nice feeling. Yeah. Like like my eyes were still closed. I felt like I was going to fall asleep immediately, but I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just blissful feeling that I felt relaxed, like in almost like in 4 days, 'cause I felt awful yesterday, and now I feel quite at peace.
I envy you in that tiredness.
Well, I'm glad that we got to share that with you and have that peace. And I hope on those days where things are hard that we can find some time to meditate and that you can give that to yourself. And also, the more often we practice it, even on those harder days, if your inner self is just this burning fire of joy or burning or bright shining light of love, then that is just with you through those days. I think if you're up for it after today's session, if you want to share what is happening, I'd like to be there for you. But for this session, let's just leave it for now. But I have one thought I wanted to share as well. You said about almost falling asleep, and
Yeah.
I've been guiding meditation for 27 years, and I often hear people mention they were deep in meditation and then they were in a dream or they were asleep. but I find it really beneficial to not think of it as sleep or dreaminess. Deep meditation, we can start to have dreamlike experiences. So often, they're these beautiful feelings, or you dream of flying around the world, giving love beams to everybody. It's like the meditation carries you away into this beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I'm quite sure it's not just sleeping or dreaming is I have had people that I can see that their body, their conscious mind has gone. Look asleep. To the camera, I'm just like this. Like you can see they've gone to sleep. And then if I go and whisper to them, "You are infinite love and infinite power," then I just see them like, what? So it's like they are in the meditation. It's just they've gone into this dreamy meditation. And if you think of it as, hey, I was meditating and it felt so good and I was like in this dreamy state, if you think of that as like deep meditation, I think the way that you surf the meditation will then be more empowered. You'd be like, yeah, here we go, instead of thinking, I'm sleepy now. Yeah. So I hope that deep letting go is a feeling that you remember and that you enjoy.
Right.
Camelot, was that a
Hello,
question or a comment?
NeoJax.
Dawn Shadow, long time no see.
No. Yeah, long time no see. I've been practicing your deep relaxation technique for a while.
Wonderful.
And I found out it actually helps a lot to mainly help me fall asleep. But I don't know, put me in a state, as you say in the record, put yourself into a state of easier to sleep, like let go things.
Wonderful.
I've also noticed, it could be just me, but if you do practice it and also use some sort of audio or visual stimulation to help yourself go asleep, it makes this technique work even better. Like it just makes it go. Your sleep is just gonna be even deeper. You're gonna have a probably one of the best night of your life.
That's so good to hear.
Yeah.
So we just came out of a compassion meditation. So I'd love to keep exploring that idea in a minute, but let's just let people keep sharing whatever came just from the meditation we just did. Camelot, did I see you had something you wanted to share or ask or something?
It's in the same subject. When I'm in deep meditation, sometimes I don't feel like I'm falling asleep, but I just forgot to think about my body. So my posture just fall. I just fell to the
You
phone.
just phase out.
So
You just
your
Yeah, I
mind,
just feel I don't phase out my mind, but I just forget that my body's here.
so you feel wide awake, but then you will eventually notice
Yeah.
that your body is falling over. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep, that's happened to
Yeah.
me too.
is that a normal thing when you do meditation?
It happens to many people. Yes, they can forget about their body, and many people will forget about their body and notice that they're in perfect posture. And some people will notice they forgot about their body and their body fell down, and they were just so in their consciousness that they just didn't even notice. Yeah.
Interesting.
A group I was meditating with this week, it was the founders and the board of the United Visions charity. We did a meditation in our team meeting, and somebody got
Oh,
to a
cool.
state where they felt that they were a floating head. So their posture
Oh
was
my gosh.
fine, but they forgot about their body, and they just had this feeling of just this was all that existed. Um, just this is all that existed, and so there was this feeling of lightness and total freedom. She said it felt amazing. It was like the most freeing, powerful feeling she'd had in quite a long time. So I'm sharing that just
That's
because
never happened to me.
it will, especially now the idea is there. Your subconscious will bring it up. So yeah, the variety of experiences people can have in meditation is vast. And if you keep meditating over a longer time, you will have different experiences happen at different times. Solar Punk?
Neojax, any chance you're considering reading The Mind Illuminated anytime soon?
Um, I've read
Because
some of it.
Okay, because Kuladasa, the author, goes into what's called access concentration, before it goes on to, I don't know if he goes on to describe the jhana states, but the access concentration seems to be really close to one of those. And I keep hoping maybe if you read that as well, then you'd be able to explain whether the floating head syndrome, if that's like part of access concentration, or if you think that's closer to the jhana state, based on the descriptions and your own personal experiences.
My answer, without having read the book and knowing exactly what he said, but in general, I think our consciousness just does interesting things, and trying to label them and put them into boxes is not actually accurate. I would say that
I could see that being an issue, yeah.
just take each experience as it is I think the most real way of experiencing them. I don't try to guide for people to have the floating head. It's not a state to achieve. It's just a nice surprise. The intent and the practice today was kindness, and Fluffy Puppy had this floating freedom as an extra bonus. Or in breathing meditation, the intent is to watch your mind, calm your mind, learn to see with the most fine-grained awareness everything in your consciousness. And if you happen to feel like you're this epically powerful floating head, great. So I would always focus on what's the intent and what are we practicing and cultivating. And these different things that happen, they happen vastly different ways for different people. Some people will sit down to meditate for the first time and bam, they're having a vision and it's something amazing. And some people will sit and practice for 30 years and not. So I feel like categorizing them doesn't actually help with them. I think we
Do them
really should
justice.
just focus on what are we cultivating, and know that sometimes we get into states or feelings that are lovely or empowering or just really curious and wonderful. Sometimes those states are so powerful they like surprise people. So yeah, just roll with it, whatever's happening.
Yeah. To be honest, it would be really awesome to have the shortcuts to get to those states where you're doing so good that you can maintain your mindfulness perfectly, that you're no longer having any trouble maintaining your mindfulness, because those are the best states. You're perfectly mindful.
My suggestion of the shortcut for that is to meditate on that idea. Imagine perfect mindfulness. And while meditating on it, then focus on the breath, this laser pointed focus. Keep doing it, but guided by the meditation of, wow, I'm amazing at this. And just carve your way into that awesomeness.
That's the plan.
What we just talked about, sort of punk and you, remind me really of a good quote I read somewhere, where it says, when you want to know how things really work, study them when they're coming apart, which is a very interesting quote to read, actually.
It's sort of like how in programming, I learn best by sort of breaking things apart in the beginning, just taking them apart and then putting them back together.
Yeah,
But of
when you want
course,
to
you
understand
also learn.
something,
Yeah,
you need to take it apart and really get a good look at it if you want to understand it.
yeah.
Dawn Shadow, are you referencing that when we practice mindfulness, we learn to watch our mind really carefully, then we get to see all the different thoughts and the different aspects of the thoughts, so we can see what our mind, what our consciousness, what our feelings are doing, and how one thing triggers another thing, and like I get to see the
How they
interactions
all
in our
relate.
mind. Yeah, absolutely.
I think so, yeah.
One thing I'd suggest, because it's great for us all to practice being very aware of the little details in our mind, I would also
Self-aware.
suggest practice just often just letting go. If something's not great, just imagine that part of you becoming peace. Like that part just makes way for something more awesome to be there. So every part of you is becoming more enlightened and free. You're making more and more
Can
space
you
for
do that in
your
metta meditation?
no, in metta meditation, we wouldn't be watching our mind. This is mindfulness,
Okay.
watching the breath to notice every bit of the consciousness.
Ah,
My hope for metta meditation is when I say think of a loved one, you're completely immersed in seeing them and feeling love for them and seeing kindness. You might notice, oh, but when they do that thing, I'm a bit grumpy. And then you might say, okay, well, there's a program I saw related to metta, and I'm going to now practice being love when they do that thing. Or you might see, oh, now I understand that they're like that because of these things that happened, probably. And all right, I noticed that I had that insight, and I'm going to now be more patient with them. Wait, that one doesn't fit the idea so much. But yeah, you may notice.
or what about the idea of something, a third party coming in that makes it hard for me and the person I care about, who we both like each other, but the third person comes into the picture and sort of separates us and just conditions beyond our control, even though everyone involved is awesome. That's, I think, one of the tougher ones.
So in metta meditation, I'd hope that you just pour love into that situation and imagine it being great. But in regards to the noticing the mind, you might also notice, oh, when I think of that person in the situation, I think of having this reaction and it changing. And then often you'll actually be reacting to your own projection rather than each moment that's so fresh and anew with the three of you there. So, mindfulness combined with metta, you're able to see what are the ideas or the projections or the beliefs that I have, which then gives you more possibility to recreate, to create more kindness, to create more possibilities of fun or good interactions or
Neojex, would you also suggest your other technique of imagining yourself as your most awesome, enlightened self, reaching into that situation and, bringing the warmth and happiness and love to everyone as well with that in that state?
I hoped that in today's compassion meditation we were doing something like that, your most loving self. And yeah, often being your most loving self is also being your most wise self, your most skillful self. So yes, yeah, I would infuse that when it's appropriate.
Yeah, I found that most helpful actually. That was probably the most helpful technique in the metta meditation today.
Yeah, if you were to imagine your most brilliant self crafting the most amazing moments of metta meditation and internalizing and transforming it in the best possible way, and just keep guiding your kindness meditation, that you are becoming infinite compassion. Like 10 minutes of just really being in that's going to be amazing. Now, if the idea of imagining your most awesome self sounds too abstract, don't use that as the guide for your compassion meditation. But if you've taken that idea and it drives you and it hits you and it's good, then great. For many of us, the focus really should be think of the friend and see them, and just feel that you want them to be okay. Just feel that you care about them, and just let that feeling of caring grow and grow. Really would that be the starting point of a metta meditation. These other things we mentioned of combining mindfulness or in combining awesomeness with it, these are all things that you can bring to it. But our base of a kindness meditation should be kindness. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Please, sir.
I started to study about meditation, and I'm wondering what are the best methods or practices that a beginner could actually use to start meditating when it's like the first time. I've never done that before.
Don
What would
Shadow,
you recommend to him?
would you be okay if I told a little backstory about you and the community before I answered the question?
Sure.
So, Don Shadow used to come all the time, and I haven't seen him for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this discussion
I've been
when he was regular, just before he went away. He's like, "Oh, I'm coming to this group, but meditation's not for me." And I was like, "Well, here's a relaxation technique." And he's like, "Oh, I don't really know if it'll work. Sorry if I'm like paraphrasing you not correctly, but this is how I remember it." And then to see him just show up after quite a
that's pretty
while,
accurate.
yeah, to see him show up after quite a while and be like, "Wow, that deep relaxation was really good." It really warms my heart, Dawn Shadow, to know that something you were skeptical of, you tried it, and it was really helpful. So, thank you for making
Well,
me feel happy. Now, to your question
no
of
problem.
a beginner meditator, I would definitely recommend kindness meditation. It's an enjoyable thing to do. You can spend 5 to 10 minutes thinking of the people in your life and just growing kindness. Maybe you'd imagine how you could speak kinder to them. Maybe you would feel more patient and understanding towards them. Maybe you would imagine that you hope they're feeling okay, and you hope they're feeling good. And so then when you see them in real life, you just kind of naturally have this way of talking to them that's more kind and more caring. So like 5 to 10 minutes of that a day is a beautiful way to make yourself and your life more enjoyable, and for that goodness to overflow to other people. And one other thing I would suggest for beginners is actually, Dawn Shadow, for you for now, that's really the one I'd recommend. It's like 5 to 10 minutes a day of choosing 1 or 2 people and just letting yourself feel kindness and caring. And if you've done it every day and it's a week later and you're like, hey, I've got so much care to give now, then you could you could think of like the community and feeling goodness to everybody. Or you could even think of people where you had felt frustrated or confused by them, and you just pour the love into them, and you make yourself find peace, and you make yourself have like this space of understanding and patience with people. Where kindness meditation can take you it's endless. Like every single person in your life, there's lots of interactions you've had, and then lots of interactions you would have. And so there's all this space for ways that you will speak kinder, ways that you'll be more patient, ways that you would be more assertive in a way that's good for everybody. There's so many places you could take kindness meditation, and just every time you do it, it's going to make you feel good and make your interactions with others better.
So okay, interesting. So if I make a recap real quick, what you're saying is basically if I do that with a kindness meditation, as you said, um it can help me change the perspective of certain people I want to focus more on,
Yes, but
the way I see them and how I can improve things, right?
I wouldn't focus on how you'd improve it. I'd focus on the feeling better with them. And then the improvements, they will come as part of the journey. But yeah, if you feel more warmth and care with the people around you, that's a beautiful place to start. That would be the first flag I'd aim for. That you just feel really good with everyone around you.
Okay.
And then how you treat them, how you talk to them, how you listen to them, how you help them to listen to you, all those things will come as you keep practicing.
All right. So basically, kind of a self reflection of how do you feel when you are um how do you feel when you're interacting with this person, basically, right?
Almost. I wouldn't leave it as just a reflection. I would make it focused on the caring. So let's just say
The
there's someone
caring.
who's
Okay.
really great for you. It's like someone who's really
Yeah.
kind and helpful, but sometimes they do some stuff that's other things. In the kindness meditation, you focus on having understanding for them and feeling good around them, and that you wish them well, and positive things you remember and appreciate about times you got to help them and how nice it feels to help. Like you just focus on the good stuff and grow that. That's like where you start
Being
with it.
more thankful, being more thankful to what this person brings into your life.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
one aspect of it. And you said that you appreciated the relaxation meditation on my SoundCloud. Um, this session has been live streamed, so if you wanted to listen to the kindness meditation we did just before you arrived, it's there. And also on my YouTube channel, there's about 10 or 20 recorded kindness meditations. Um,
Yeah.
some of them are in amongst the classes here in the temple, and some of them
Yeah.
are standalone, like it's in the title, kindness meditation or compassion meditation. So you might want to listen to some guided ones sometimes, and you might want to just give yourself your own 5 minutes for you to focus
Yeah.
on the people in your life and focus on them in the way that would be most helpful for you and them.
Yeah. Right.
Today's
Right now,
one,
I'm. Oh, go ahead.
the one we did here today, it started kind of epic. because we had a lot of regulars, I was like, imagine if you'd been doing an hour of kindness meditation and you're just full of love. And then there was some really nice, at least for me, some really nice ideas that came out from there. So you might want to check out today's, or you might want to focus on the ones that start more step by step. The end of last week's meditation, we started with one person and just really went through and had compassion for them in simple ways that grew and were nice. And then we thought of another person and we did it in a little bit bigger. So, yeah, I would really recommend check out the end of last week's recording, the start of this one, and some of the other videos on our YouTube channel. I learned
I'll check
meta
that out.
meditation by reading Metta Meditation, METTA is what it's called in some circles. And then in my mind, just following through the idea of one person, wishing well for them, and expanding it. And over years of doing it, I've found ways that I feel kind of open up the love more and are more impactful. But the traditional one is quite step by step, that many people find, if they do that regularly, is very helpful. Solar
Okay.
Punk, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, but I don't want to cramp the style of compassion and goodwill with my reference to a movie called Inside Out. I'll ask you after this. Some very curious question.
Oh,
I love that film.
me
A few
too.
years before that came out,
Oh,
I was hanging out, playing frisbee with some people from Pixar, and I was telling them about the vision that changed my
very cool.
life and all the bubbles being transformed. And it may be completely unrelated. I don't know if they then went and shared that story around the office. Um, the person who produced it, I think he also wrote it, so perhaps he had a similar vision. But yeah, I feel a lot of kin to that film. Hey, I would love to hear, what were you thinking about the film?
Well, it was the stumbling block I kept hitting during the metta meditation when imagining the people I really like, just really good friends. And then this brought up the thought of this scene in the Pixar's Inside Out where she goes to the memory warehouse. Do you remember that scene where there are all the golden marbles that represent all the memories
Yeah.
of the person?
The golden
Yeah, and
marbles
then
are
but
like
she's brought
the
sad.
thing from my vision.
Yeah, except unfortunately, mine is more like that part where she's accidentally brought sorrow, sadness with her, and sadness reaches out and touches each of the golden memories, and they turn blue.
Yeah.
And that's my problem, and that's my problem in meditation. I think of these wonderful golden memories I have of beautiful places I've been, or my wonderful friends, and then they turn blue as I think about how things actually turned out, how those places changed for the worse, or how those people went through frustration and hatred and these other things that happened to them and hurt them a lot in life, and everything, just all the memories have turned blue, and that's
So
a very frustrating part for me.
in that film, they have this idea of the sad being, which is kind of like the metaphor of looking through the lens of sadness. And when she touches things through the lens of sadness, yes, that's what happens. But they could just have easily had the joyous being touching things through the joy of the lens of joy, or they could have also had an enlightened being touching things through the lens of enlightenment and changing the colors that way. Really, whatever mind you bring to different memories or thoughts will transform them. Now, I have a question. Let's just say you had an old friend and they had great memories of you, but then the last thing they heard of you was when you had your accident. Now, when they think of you, let's just say that they then were like, oh, that really sucks. How would you feel about them if that was what they'd done to the memories they had of you?
I definitely want to. I definitely want to tell them that hope is not lost. I'm still striving for the awesome. I just need more vitamin D. I just need more time.
Um,
and
and I'm
and
imagining
encourage them to
I'm imagining the people in those memories you have would also wish something similar for you when you think of them. And some of them may go through dark times and come out and go back in and come out. Some of them may get lost in the darkness. Some of them may go along and have what for them is a pretty great life. So I invite you to look at them again and try to look at them through the different lenses and one thing's for sure is when you think of them, you care about them. So in a metta meditation, at the very least, look at it through the eyes of love. Some of them you want to reach out to them. Some of them you just want to know that you really have the well wishes for them.
maybe that needs to be the focus in this case, since the others are stumbling blocks for me.
The thought I just gave you with, hey, if someone remembered that you'd had this harder time, obviously you'd want them to know that you're still striving and you're great. I really think that you should think of all those other people. They might not be on the journey of enlightenment that you are, but they're all striving in their own way. They're all trying to have their friends or their family. They're trying to find things they enjoy. Every one of them.
And everyone seeks happiness.
Yeah. They've all got their friends. They might have some chapters where they have less friends, but they're all making their way through life, and I'm sure they wouldn't want you to think of them like, it's just all useless and sad. I'm sure that there's many other lenses that you could look at them through, which are perhaps even
And to be
more
fair,
real.
I think all of my friends in the past are awesome. Even the ones who I had a falling out with, who were even a couple who were sort of like enemies for me at a certain point because of how they divided up the family and stuff. I still think they're awesome people, and I understand them and I appreciate them. I understand why they did what they did. It's it was their only option. It was their instinct. And I still love and like them, even if there's a couple of people in my past I don't want to open doors to right now. I still wish the best for them. I really hope they find the happiness that they needed in their life.
You may notice,
but yeah, just to be clear, I think they're all awesome.
Wonderful, and I hope that you also take the time to feel that as well. But you may notice in the kindness meditation I guided today is I mostly focused on the people who you interact with today or this week. And where are you going? What are the connections you're going to create? To bring it back to some philosophies that are helpful with well-being is that expectations and attachments being a certain way do cause suffering. And so when you notice yourself expecting that it should have been this way but it's not, label it as such. There's an expectation that's not helpful. It is what it is. And you having your liberated mind that is empowered in every moment, bring that into each thought you have about others as well as about yourself.
Excellent idea. Thank you.
there's great benefit to practicing being in the moment. Spending time evaluating or reacting to things in the past is almost never useful. There are times you can look back and be like, oh, I've learned from that, and I choose now that I will act in this way or I will interact in this way. But generally, reacting to the past is you're just in your imagination rather than living. So focusing on being present and cultivating what you're doing into your life, into your now, into this week, I thoroughly encourage that. Aiming for this present moment, cultivating where you're going. What kind of
Excellent.
relationships are you going to grow and cultivate for your future? Yeah, I would encourage that to be more of your focus.
And I appreciate all the answers. Thank you, Neogex. Also, you're awesome.
You're awesome. There was maybe 4 key points that we covered in the last few minutes. I would encourage you to sit in a meditation and try to practice each one of them in a compassion meditation, particularly with those bubbles that had been touched in the past. Go and touch them with these different ideas so that those part of you become strong and well-wishing. And after going through that fairly quickly, then bring it to the present moment, to seeing everyone as they are, to cultivating how you are and how your interactions are for now and ever improving into the future. Yeah, just grab a cushion. We normally use people's VR names. The Mindful Fire podcast is quite a mouthful. I think I'll call you Mindful Fire. So welcome to the session. I'm just going to turn on your avatar so I can see you. Mindful Fire and I used to work together and guide meditations together at Google. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us. And to those of you who joined in after the meditation we started with today, we began with a compassion meditation. We started with a few minutes to let the mind settle, and then we moved into imagining having compassion for all beings and just feeling what it's like to be the person that brings kindness and encouragement and positivity everywhere you go. Mindful Fire, if you point to your cushion and just pull the trigger once and then don't push the joystick anymore, you'll stay seated. Excellent. Welcome to the temple.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And Fluffy Puppy? I thought I saw you start to say something.
No, I was just letting out a sigh, just relaxing.
How about we all just take a few moments to let our minds settle and to become present. Any nice ideas that we've discussed, you're just going to let yourself kind of internalize them. So we'll just take a deep breath in and just let yourself be at peace. If you've just arrived at the temple, have that idea of you just letting yourself fully arrive, fully be here. Another deep breath in. It's Mindful Fire's first time, I think, in VR chat, and I see you throwing out thumbs ups and go emojis to everybody.
I have no
I'm going to
I have
turn the
no idea
camera
what I'm
around
doing.
to everybody, and I'm going to come over and join you. And let's just have a little bath of love hearts. It's one of my favorite things. So you've got the heart there, the hands there. Can you see the heart? Mindful Fire. Everybody got your
No.
hearts ready? On the count of 3, we're going to just have a
Yes.
love heart swarm. Okay, let's
Where do
go.
you see the
1,
hearts?
2, 3.
All right. Ooh. I love giving love.
Thank you. I don't know how to
Alright.
do the
You're
hearts, but thank you.
In the emoji menus, one of them is the first set of menus has a heart, but you'll find it. So yeah, welcome
I'll
to
find
VR.
it.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Let me just check on the live stream. Oh, Marlies, or some of you know her as Amazer. She's who had the floating head experience in meditation at our meeting last week, and she wrote "floating head!" exclamation, and she's sending love hearts to all of you. Oh, I think she sent it just as Mindful Fire arrived. So Mindful Fire, a
Aw.
love heart from Marlies, and to all of you.
Thank you, Marlies. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So normally we finish with a meditation, and it's approaching the time that we are going to dive into our closing meditation. But I feel like just having a few more minutes of discussion or questions, and also space if any of you have a theme or a request for our closing meditation.
Well, Neojex, if
Solver?
I may ask. Yeah, what are out of the top techniques, like imagining yourself as your most awesome self, when interacting with somebody, or just focusing specifically on just the love or care you feel for a person. Do people have certain favorites that they talk to you about that they find more easy for them, or does it usually seem to be pretty random
Definitely some people
to
will
help
get
with meta meditation and such?
definitely some people will get attached to favorites, or if someone's from a lineage and their lineage said do it this way, they'll then think that's the right way to do it. And
Oh, have you ever had people come to you and say, "I've tried all these techniques, but this technique works best"? Do you ever get
definitely,
that, or do most
yeah,
people just seem to be happy with the first thing?
a lot of people are happy with the first thing they find. Some people tried many and then they find the few that works for them. One thing I would say there is, don't be attached when you find that. You're like, hey, I've had some really epic experiences here, but our minds change, or you may hear a new way of doing one of the other techniques that would actually give you a more beneficial outcome, or perhaps doing this other focus might not feel so profound, but it would actually really help in the way that you interact with people. So I definitely feel like You know, someone might say, hey, this is my favorite style of music. And cool, that's okay. But I definitely think people should still check out different kinds of music from time to time and listen to people who love other styles and hear how they love it and hear how it impacts them, so they enrich their own ability to make the most of those different experiences.
And one of the good ways to do that is you can go on bandcamp.com and you can like, if you have a song you like, you can look at all the people who recently bought it or who favorited it, and you can click on one of them, and then it shows all the songs that they've purchased there or just got downloaded, and you can just start clicking on each of them and hearing all these different genres of music that they like. It's rather interesting.
I wonder if there's a meditation app where you can go and see the kinds of meditations that people have liked. But yeah, similarly,
that would be awesome.
I was going to suggest going and just trying completely different styles every now and then. Being cautious if they say this is how it is, to not necessarily believe them, just always open to like see the strength of what they're saying. Try and see it through the lens of what are they practicing and what's the result. But try to not take on any beliefs, just learning and observing.
Yeah, I guess I'm thankful. I've had the opposite experience of that. You know, when I asked the abbot of the monastery I like to hang out at, Ajahn Kemasanto suggested for me with my challenges with metta that I could always just imagine myself giving a big birthday cake to the person I was thinking of and making them happy. And it's always a good fallback technique for me, interestingly enough. It always works. It does give me that sort of happy metta feeling, and it keeps me focused in the moment. That's the most important part, so I don't start thinking about the past again.
Wonderful.
Just little things like that, techniques.
Yeah, you might find that imagining cuddling little kittens and bunny rabbits is great for you. You may find giving them the birthday present and adding some flair to it. Maybe some of your enlightenment gems are inside the present and you watch them open it and see how it feels. You may find just there's maybe a question that frames the meditation for you in a way that's really helpful, like as I focus on those that are closest to me, what do I want to feel every time I think of them? Or perhaps, rather than thinking of many people, maybe just really focus on those that are closest to you, and just make that so beautiful and so good that then no matter who else comes to mind, you've just got a jug of infinite love to pour on them.
And that is the easiest for me, by the way. It's just starting with the people who I interact with daily, because it's just so easy to make that beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah, I would say really make that your foundation. Yeah. You may have noticed in today's kindness meditation where I went out to loving all beings. We kind of skipped over some of those people that were harder, and we were just like, yeah, obviously I want all those strangers to feel okay. You may find just envisaging yourself as a being of compassion for everybody is also very helpful for yourself.
Oh, sorry about that. I had some issues with my audio, and I'm back now.
Welcome back.
It should be fixed. Thank you.
Shall we begin our closing meditation?
Yes, please.
Sure.
I think with all the discussions about compassion, even though we've already done some compassion, I'm going to do a different style of compassion meditation.
I appreciate that.
One thing, Mindful Fire, would you like to come into the temple? for the meditation?
Yeah.
I love watching new people to VR. The way they move has an interesting quality to it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, and you get used quite quickly to it.
This is a beautiful place. Did you design this,
It really
Fraser?
is.
I did not. There's a team of people that are part of the Shoshin community who've worked on a number of worlds that they have, and in time I will show you all of them.
Sounds
All right,
If I
so we're going to
recall
do our compassion meditation, then we'll finish with a quick wrap up, and then for those of us who are here, we're going to go into our social time outside the temple. All right.
All right.
Now,
works.
to those of you here on the live stream, it's been great to have you, and let's just dive into our meditation. So, I invite you to check your posture. Take a really deep breath, expand your lungs, and sit up straight. Pull the shoulders up and back. Feel the muscles at the back of your ribs. And as you breathe out, feel the posture stay strong. And then scan through the sensations in your upper torso. Take another deep breath, and this time let everywhere that needs to, let it relax, but let everywhere else feel strong and good. And then notice how you feel. Take a few breaths where you just let yourself feel peace. We're about to go on a compassion journey. So imagine stepping into a state of mind where you'll be able to really immerse yourself in the ideas. Where you'll be able to really imagine each person or each concept. You may like to think to yourself that I am aware of my consciousness, and I am getting better and better at guiding it every moment. And now we begin our compassion meditation. So I invite you to think of one of your best friends or family members. If a few people came to mind, that's something to be grateful for, but I invite you just to pick one. And if no one really came to mind, just whoever first glimpses into your mind, just choose them for now. And whoever came to mind, I want you to imagine that they're sitting in front of you. And you could imagine you can see them. Kind of clothes they wear, their hair, what their face looks like. everybody can always practice making their visual mind better. So whether it's just the idea of what they look like or whether you can see them, just try and make it more vivid. See the outline of their hair and the outline of their clothes. Imagine looking into their eyes and smile at them. Hey, and they're surprised and they smile back. And just smile at each other. And imagine if they knew right now that you were thinking about them and caring about them. Imagine how that would feel for them. And just focus on that feeling of caring. Keep looking at them, keep smiling, and just give them more of that feeling of caring. And let yourself imagine that feeling of caring getting bigger, feeling nicer. It may take a few breaths, but you'll find that caring growing, feeling sweeter, feeling stronger. Just keep smiling at them and let yourself just feel the care. You may notice as you imagine it growing, the ways your mind is good at growing it and the ways that it's not. You could think of almost like a potter with clay. You're shaping this caring, you're growing it. So watch how your consciousness can grow the caring and just find the ways that you're able to make it bigger, to make it brighter, to make it nicer. And whatever you've made, give it to them like a present. And see the joy on their face as they receive the caring that you just made. And now imagine that it's later. And you see them again. And you give them another present of caring. And then imagine you go. And the next time you see them, you give them an even more beautiful present of caring. And they see what's going on. And they smile and they love it. And you love it. And just by appreciating it, the caring is getting more wonderful, happier, warmer, richer. And so focus on that experience of caring and grow it even more.
Excuse me, do you happen to know where a person named Right Eye Blue is? I'm searching for him.
We haven't seen them, and we're in a meditation, so I'm going to have to Just keep going.
Ah, crap. Oh well.
And so I invite everybody to just put a little smile on your face and send out some caring and kindness to that person and the person they're looking for. Take a deep breath and imagine every person who you ever see or have a moment to interact with, you have a present of kindness and caring to give them. And every time this kindness and caring becomes a little lighter, a little more joyful,
Excuse me.
a little more understanding or caring. Now bring to mind again that first person and imagine looking into them, and you can see them as a child, them as a teenager, them as who they were last month, them as who they are now. You can see the parts of them that sometimes struggle. You see the times that they feel great. And I invite you to imagine giving that present of kindness to all the different aspects of them. One by one, give the child inside of them caring and kindness and support and acceptance. Give the teenager inside of them comfort, care, encouragement. Whichever different aspects of them come to mind, give them the most beautiful love that you can imagine. And then we bring our attention again back just to this pure concept of caring, kindness. And with each breath you take, you're going to let it feel more wonderful. You're going to see the beauty in caring. You're going to see the wonder in understanding. You're going to feel the ease of patience. So as you hold your attention on compassion, your object of compassion becomes more beautiful, more powerful, more wonderful. And next, you're going to hold your attention back on that first person, and at your own pace, you're going to remember times you laughed together, times they helped you, times you helped them, times they taught you, times you taught them, fun things you've done, times they were hurting and you wished them well, times they were sick and you got to care, or they got to care for you. So just let yourself go through all the memories with this person, and each memory that comes back, just pull out this gift of kindness and give it to them with a cheeky smile. Going through all of those memories, just giving the love, giving the love, giving the love. And in just a moment, we're going to finish this compassion meditation. So think of the person who's been your attention And just remember and feel and enrich all the compassion you've cultivated and shared with them. Maybe you think next time you see them, the joy that you have, the words that you'll give, the nice tones of voice that you'll give. And then bring your attention to this object of compassion that you've been growing and sculpting and making more bright and more beautiful. And just know that this object you'll continue to make more wonderful and more wonderful throughout your life. Love. Love itself. And if you're deep in meditation, I invite you just to take one strong breath and remember you're sitting here in the temple. We've cultivated compassion for one person, but this object of compassion, it's more part of you now, and it will overflow to everybody. And I invite us all to stand for the dedication. Today we practiced compassion. We gained insights into cultivating our mind, into peace, into awareness of how to navigate our consciousness, into seeing a world that is love for all beings, into knowing that deep down everybody wishes everybody would be okay, and to see the love in everyone. And I invite you just to dedicate whatever you learned today to a world where everybody is shaping themselves. Everybody is choosing to be their best self. With strength, decide that you'll practice that for yourself. Every day, giving your best self the attention and the love that it deserves. Let's just take a few deep breaths and feel that, giving it to yourself as a gift to the world so that everyone can give it to themselves. And when we open our eyes, we're just going to give a bow to everybody who's here. And as each one of us leaves, I invite you to have a moment with that enlightened being at the back of the room. Find the infinite love in yourself and see it in that being. Or find the wisdom and awareness and mindfulness. Or think of being able to see every aspect of your consciousness and guiding it wonderfully. Whatever it means for you. And then, as we make our way out, let's just wait till everybody's out and we'll bow to each person as they leave the temple. There's a meditative experience shared together. And then I'll finish the stream and we can begin our social time. So thank you to everybody who's been here. Thank you all. It's been wonderful. Please share the stream with others. Rewatch it. Enjoy the meditations. And let's all work towards a world that is guided by love and kindness, awareness, and where people are choosing to make their best life and to make the most wonderful world together. Thank you, everybody.